What did I remote view in Malta in the Hypogeum Museum, which is a very ancient prehistoric space that was discovered recently? If you want to hear more, stay tuned. This video is going to go deep. But I first want to let you know that everything that I'm going to say here is for entertainment purposes only. It's not necessarily true. It's just energy that I read while I was there, and some of it's true based on what I learned while I was visiting Malta. The rest is from energy reading. For those of you who aren't aware of Malta, Malta is off of the edge of the boot of Italy. It's believed that it was once part of Italy. It was a landmass that separated from the boot over time as water came between, covered up the land there. So Malta now is a little island off of Italy, and it's been for thousands of years off on its own. So it's made the land itself vulnerable and the people that live on it vulnerable to pirates. But we're going to cover so many things today. I hope you'll stick around because there's a lot to talk about on this subject. I could probably do videos the rest of my life on Malta and all of the energy that I read when I was there. Again, I'm a remote viewer, and I oftentimes I'll get called to go to different land masses to do energy work, both on the grids as well as to release spirits and to do some healing work and things for the land. I was called by an associate out to Malta to remote view because we were going to talk about a lot of other subjects there and see what I could see. And I saw a lot. Wasn't exactly what he was thinking I would see, but it was definitely a lot of things that I saw there. So the Hypogeum is basically, it's a museum now, but it was a burial site and possibly even a hospital several thousand years ago. I think it's 9,000 years old, so it's one of the oldest sites that we have in the world today. 7,000 skeletons were discovered in it when a man was digging his basement in his home and fell into the ground, which ended up being the Hypogeum. So he got down in the bottom and discovered this whole other now museum, which was underneath his house, which was a burial site. The Hypogeum has several different rooms in it, and now it's underground, so you have to go in and go down into the basement. I'm not sure if it was even underground when it was originally built or not. It could have been, but it looks like it probably was. And so it's been designed essentially what looks like to be a healing chamber, where one of the rooms specifically is designed to do sound healing. And this is what makes it so fascinating. One of the things that makes it so fascinating is that these ancient peoples were doing sound healing thousands and thousands of years ago, something that most of humanity has become detached from and doesn't have this knowledge. The other thing that makes it extremely unique is that these souls, these humans, these bones that were found there, many of them or some of them had elongated skulls. And this is where I began to talk to my spirit guides and ask them to explain to me what was really going on, who these people were, because nobody knows who they were. Again, Malta has several different ancient temples all over the entire islands covered in them, which may explain why it's been taken over by Masons. And that's why it's the Masonic groups, the Knights of Malta are there, and they do have control over this land, and so it's kind of interesting. But there are lots of ancient temples there, lots and lots of them that are connected to, and they're set up and designed to work with the summer solstice and the winter solstice and the cosmos. So these peoples from thousands of years ago were extremely connected to the stars, and they designed everything to work coinciding with astrological events. In short, it seems that everything that was done there was done a lot more aligned with the stars and with nature and with the universe than anything that humans are doing today for the most part. So when I got into the museum and I went down into all of these different chambers, I was really working with spirit to show me what was going on and what the story was. because again, this was thousands of years ago. Nobody knows who these people were, and it looks like there were different types of people because of the types of skulls and the way that they were shaped of the people that were found, or the skeletons that were found. And this is where I was shown that there were ET groups there. There were, what I was told, Syrian beings that were there, and there was another nefarious group of ETs that were there. And I was told that the ETs that were nefarious that were there, they were doing more than just healing chambers and helping people in their transition. There, I was shown something very nefarious. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to share it on this video. But let's just say that there was some soul harvesting being done there, and it was not a benevolent thing. And at the same time, there were many benevolent beings, including ETs, that were in this region at this time. And that's what I was being shown, is that they were connected to the Syrians. The Syrians are some of the earliest star races that were on the earth, and they really worked to help develop civilization, which probably had a huge influence with why these people were so connected to the stars. In fact, one of the other temples, in the way that it was structured, was to connect directly to the Sirius star. So I think that that's really important to note, is that there were very benevolent beings there, and I do believe that they were starseed beings and star beings that lived in this region at this time. And I believe that this was an ET thing that happened that caused the harvesting of a lot of people in the end. That's what I was being shown. And it's really interesting when you understand the history after that towards, the current timeline, where over many thousands of years, this little island got fought over by many groups of beings, and there was a lot of soul harvesting and a lot of bloodlust and a lot of torture that went on to people out there by the Christians and by many other groups over time. And so I do believe that the negative ETs, which could be connected to these elongated skulls, positive and negative, and so I believe that they have still an influence there, and that they basically took over the land there to hijack what would most likely be considered one of the chakra systems for Gaia. It's very close to the Vatican because, again, it's at the bottom of the boot of Italy, and Italy's just across the way a little bit. And so it's a very, very, very interesting thing. I'll probably have to record some other videos. If you guys want to hear more, just leave your comments in the comment section, and give this a like and a share if you like it, and I'll be happy to tell you more. But I can just say that in short, I was shown that negative and positive ETs warred in this land thousands and thousands of years ago, and that this Hypogeum, whatever it was, which nobody is quite exactly sure, but whatever it was, I was shown did have it was a healing center with sound healing room in it. But I do believe that there was something nefarious that happened in the end, and that it probably wiped out the civilization that was there in this time, which is probably why we don't have a lot of history on what this place is and who the people were. Okay, I hope that helped. Leave your comments, and I'll be happy to do some more for you. Take care.